No, the book of Revelation is not about the Antichrist. While there are many theological misunderstandings in the world today, I've personally found that a good majority of them revolve around the subject of eschatology. Now, eschatology is just a fancy word for the study of the end times. And in order to understand eschatology, we have to get our key players straight. First is the Antichrist. John, an apostle of Jesus, writes 5 books found in the New Testament. And in 2 of these books, he mentions the Antichrist. Now, it might surprise you to hear how John defines the Antichrist. He writes in 1 John 4:3, "Every spirit that does not confess Jesus is not from God. This is the spirit of the Antichrist, which you heard was coming and now is in the world already." Here, John is combating the early Christian heresy of Docetism, which said that Jesus didn't actually have a physical body. So according to John, Antichrist isn't some guy with an eye patch who tries to establish a one-world government. Antichrist is someone trying to introduce heresy into the church. The modern day equivalent to this would be something like a pastor trying to support a doctrine of LGBTQ inclusion or trying to push for a pro-choice advocacy in the church. Second is the beast. The figure referred to as the beast is found in the book of Revelation. Again, the beast is not some Dr. Evil type figure. The beast is a worldly empire that stands against the church. In John's day, this would have been the Roman Empire. Now, some of you might object and say that the beast has a number and that the number is the number of a man. And you'd be exactly right. John writes that the number of the beast is 666. And if we use the practice of gematria to turn that number into a name, it clearly comes out to the name of Nero Caesar. But Nero's appealed to because he's the perfect representation of evil empires that come against God's people. Notably, he oversaw one of the most gruesome periods of Christian persecution in the entire history of the church. So it's not that the beast is some individual figure, it's an empire. But individual figures like Nero personify the evil of the very empires that they ran. Last is the man of lawlessness. This mysterious figure is named by Paul in his second letter to the Thessalonians. Paul says in 2 Thessalonians 2:4 that he's someone who opposes and exalts himself against every so-called God or object of worship, so that he takes his seat in the temple of God, proclaiming himself to be God. Now, this is a tricky passage, and it's caused a lot of people to ask what Paul means when he mentions the temple of God. Is a third temple going to be rebuilt? Or is Paul here referring to the Christian church as the temple of God? While we might not get to the bottom of it today, one thing's for sure. The man of lawlessness is categorically different than the beast or the Antichrist. So while TikTok theologians or YouTube prophets might conflate these figures, you should let the Bible inform you of who the key players in the end times are.